keep in mind is that if you got females in heat, damn, I'm getting tongue tied like a motherfucker, ain't I? If you got females in heat, it must be the gas. But anyway, if you got What's good, YouTube? Neighborhood Bullies checking in with another video. And today I just got a quick story time for you. I'm gonna tell you about my boy Trey. Trey, I got him from my homeboy probably about 6 to 7 years ago, something like that. It was the first dog I ever had with papers. He was a Blue Steel Remy on the Rocks, which is a Remy Martin son, and Boston George blood. I had Trey for a while, man. Yeah, Trey was my boy. So he was a classic, standard size. So when I got my boy Venom, of course, Trey was probably about 2 years older than Venom. So, and Trey was used to being, you know, the big dog in the yard, the oldest dog on the yard, you know. So even though he wasn't the biggest as far as his size, you know, he had a lot of drive in him. He had a lot of attitude. So anyway, Trey was, I guess it was a girl in heat. Well, yeah, there was some girls in heat. My girl Marley. So that's these puppies in here barking behind the camera. But Marley was in heat. So when Marley got in heat, you know, I had everybody running around at the same time, which is a mistake, and I'm gonna bring that up later. I had all my dogs running around at the same time with my girls in heat. So me not really being as experienced as I am now, I didn't really pay no attention to the signs. So anyway, Trey and Venom used to always get into it. So one day in particular, Trey and Venom got into a fight so bad that my boy Venom, he couldn't even walk back into his cage. I had to pick him up and carry him. I had to treat him. Yeah, my boy Trey tore him up bad. It was really to a point where Venom couldn't really walk for probably about 2 days. So he would pretty much just lay around in his doghouse licking his wounds and stuff like that. So anyway, probably about 3 to 4 days later, they got into it again. And well, let me rewind right quick. My boy Venom, well, no, Trey used to jump on Venom's back all the time, like he was mounting him. So and I come to find out that's why they used to always get into it, because Trey would always mount Venom back all the time. And what I come to find out is that that's a way that male dogs or any dog try to assert their dominance on another dog. They'll mount the dog and try to hump him and stuff like that. And so that's what Trey would do to Venom. So like I said, going back to it, when Trey and Venom first got into a fight, Venom was so bad off that he couldn't even walk. So like I say, after Venom got back right, he healed up a little while. And I'd say probably about 3 to 4 days later, they got into another little scuffle, but it wasn't that bad because I was out there, so I stopped it in probably about 30 seconds or so like that. But they was getting into it pretty bad then. So we're gonna rewind. No, fast forward probably about a week after the first incident. I guess I was gone somewhere and I came back home. And usually when I pull up to the gate, you know, I call on my dog's name just to see him, just to, you know, just some little silly shit I do. I call them all some little silly names I got for all my dogs. So I pulled up this day to the gate and wasn't nobody, well, I pulled up this day to the gate and everybody came out but Trey. So I knew something had to be going on, because Trey will come to the gate anytime he lose, anytime I call his name, you know. So every time, I know anytime I call one of my dogs' name, if they lose or if they ain't lose, if they in their dog house, they just gonna come out the cage and come out into their little area. But anyway, I came and found Trey when I came in the gate, and I went and looked for Trey. I got this deck that I got all my kennels sitting on. So I was looking around in the cage that Trey was in, but he wasn't in his cage, so I started looking up under the decks. And then there was Trey. You know, I found my boy. He was laying up under the doghouse dead, well, up under the deck dead. So my next dilemma was how I was gonna get them from under the deck, because it's probably about this much space up under the deck to where, you know, I can get up under there. So, you know, the dog would be digging holes up under there so they can dig their way through. So that's how they navigate up under the deck. But me, I'm too big to get up under there like they do. So what I had to do was go get a shovel and actually dig a small hole, you know, on one side of the kennel that he was closest to, so I would be able to pull him out. And, you know, to be able to pull his whole body up under the hole, and up under the deck into the hole, so I can pull the body out. So once I got the hole dug, I stuck my arm in, as far as I could reach would be to where his mouth and where his nose would be. So I had to stick my hand in his mouth to where his teeth was, and put my thumb sort of on the top of his nose, and I had to pull him out by his teeth. I can't even really say I was disgusted. At that time, I was just really hurt. Yeah, I was just really hurt at the time. So once I finally got him out, you know, my boy was looking bad. He was chewed up. I'm not sure if Venom did it by itself or if the other dogs helped him, but I saw some blood on Venom. I know for sure he had something to do with it. But I also saw some blood on a couple other girls I had, so I'm pretty sure once him and Venom got into it, the girls got into it with him. So anyway, I'll post a picture up here. You know, beware, because it is gonna be a little gruesome. But yeah, man, it got ugly in there, and I found my boy Trey dead. So, you know, of course, what I had to do was go dig a hole to bury him in. And once I dug the hole, I wrapped Trey up in a tarp, and I drug his body out to the hole, and I put him in the hole and buried him. And that's the last time I seen my boy Trey. So the moral to this story is, for one, when you got a lot of American bullies, don't just have them all running around at the same time, especially when you're not out there with them and you're not paying attention to them 100%, because it can go left real quick for any reason. And it don't take but 30 seconds. Your dog can lose their life real quick. So, and another reason, well, another thing that you should keep in mind is that if you got females in heat, damn, I'm getting tongue-tied like a motherfucker, ain't I? If you got females in heat, it must be the gas. But anyway, if you got females in heat, the best thing to do is to keep the females locked up, or if you got somewhere separate, you can put the males, keep the males locked up in a separate area, because the last thing you want to happen is for your males to break loose out the kennels and either get with a female that you don't want them to breed with, or to be in a kennel with another dog and he breaks out that kennel and breaks into another kennel with the dog in heat, and two dogs get together that shouldn't be together, and you got a whole mess on your hands. I got another story about that one I'm gonna do too. So yeah, pretty much just keep your dogs contained unless you're out there with them at all times, because it can go left real quick, and it don't take but 30 seconds. Your dog can lose their life, and especially if you got a lot of dogs together, what dogs typically tend to do is, if one dog is fighting, the other dogs will start jumping in or start fighting on each other too. So it's never a good thing if you got a lot of dogs out and a dog fight jump off. So yeah, that's my story for today. Keep your dogs contained. Keep your eye on your dogs. You can lose your dog real quick. And it's Neighborhood Bullies. I'm checking out.